You're 33 years old. You look at your hands and it's not you. You've been the same person for 10 years. It's time to really shake it up. Fast forward, you're 59. Family, Adam, they're in college. They're doing their own thing. You look down at your hands. The wind is blowing. This isn't you. It's time to change. Today, we're going to talk about the big change. The midlife crises.
So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective. The taboo, forbidden subjects, they're all on the chopping block, baby. We don't pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty.
Warning, this podcast may contain mature language and sexual content and is for infotainment purposes only.
So join us. Have a good time.
Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles. God bless America, but not Nick, because he burped on
Nick.
I was going to say camera, but that's not as obnoxious as into the microphone.
Yeah, it was a little away from the microphone.
Trying to be a pro
Nick,
here.
Folks.
We're professionals. I'm Dan.
Oh, good. Everyone watching was like, who the hell's who? Now they know.
Ah, perfectly.
Perfect. Perfect strangers.
So you want to pull up the Wikipedia definition of what a midlife crisis is?
That's literally where all my research begins. Yeah. Wikipedia rules everything around me. So someone I live with, this is like 2 years ago, was like, what do kids say? Lit? And I was like, yeah, it's lit. And they're like, what does that mean? And I was like, I tried to explain it. And then she was like, I heard a new one in work today. I was like, well, what? And she's like, let's rock a wiki on that. And I was like, excuse me?
Let's rock
and
a
she's
wiki.
She's like, that's the expression where you Wikipedia something. And I was like, that's...
I know. I hadn't heard that one.
I'm saying. I'm saying that. But every now and then when I think of Wikipedia, I'm like, I'm going to rock a wiki on this.
It sounds like you're going to squeeze one out on like a Wikipedia page.
I don't know. It's just like, I'm going to rock a wiki. It sounds like someone old trying to say something young and hip. It's just not working.
Maybe she just trying it out on you. It's like, that's what I heard.
Maybe.
People say it.
Yeah, people were saying it. I don't know. So let's go. Midlife crises. Usually age 45 to 67, which I thought was bizarre.
I thought it was bizarre too, yeah.
And I was like, 67? Holy crap. Is that what the number is from Wiki?
It was 45 to 64 is the midlife crisis.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's wild. That's a 20-year period. Just about.
What is life expectancy for us? Did you look?
So they said the average life expectancy is 90, so 45 would actually be the exact mid.
Yeah, but that's for people born now. I think for us it's a lower. I think it's actually like for males born around 1985-ish, it's like 72 years old.
Really?
I thought that was low too, so I would probably say it's more like 75-ish. But
all right, technology changes, life expectancy changes, etc., etc.
Yeah. So that really like begs the question: if you're 45 to 64, are you
in the middle of your life?
Yeah, you're not in my consideration, that's not the middle. Like once you're past, I don't know what age, but once you're elderly, which is like got to be 60, retired.
I love how it's always older than us.
Yes.
Isn't that funny?
Those old people.
Once you're older than you is like such a far away number. It's like once you're 40 something, people who are like 40 something are like, you mean 50 something. People who are 50 something are like 60 something. It's always a moving goalpost, but I agree with you.
The majority of people who are 60 years old are incapable of doing a lot of things, which is most of life.
That's why my intro had 59. I think that's like really the last year you can pick up a Harley. You know what I mean? You could do it after that, I assume, but like, I think at 59 arms, you could become you could become a Harley guy at 59, right? I think so.
I don't know, man. I
think so. 60? You're pushing it. Now, you could still be on your Harley at 60. I'm not saying that, but like to start it fresh. Like you're a businessman, you work in a cubicle, you just wear khakis on the weekends,
Wild
like
hog.
that guy.
No.
And then all of a sudden, that guy is going to start to just bust down into a Harley and start wearing the leather and stuff like that and bandanas. Like you have to be 59 or younger, I think.
I don't know that you
I would
can.
guess.
I don't think you can pick up that style. Like you would stand out,
Mhm.
obviously.
Mm-mm.
You could never wear
I
it
think
and
you
pull
can
it
do
off.
I think you can do it.
At 60, you couldn't do it.
Oh, at 59, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what's that guy doing? Ah, that's cool. Good on him.
Okay, so
60,
life
it's
ends
like,
at 60 is what you're saying?
I don't know, because that'll be a moving goalpost too.
Yeah.
It is weird. 60 seems like the number where you don't do anything new.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, my parents are 30 years older than I am, so that puts them in mid-60s. And,
Okay, and
they
would
don't
they-
do anything new. I've never seen them do anything new in
could
the
they?
past 5 years.
Could
They might be able to, but it feels
Well,
like
could
they
you-
don't want
What
to.
if you become a golf guy? You could pick that up, couldn't you?
That's
60,
the
if
only
you've never
sport
played
you
before?
could pick up. Like, what are you can't play basketball.
No, you're not.
You're not
Pick up ball.
playing soccer. You're not going. Most
All right.
things
Well, there's
you're not
other
doing.
hobbies. You can become like a boat guy who builds boats in bottles.
In bottles.
What do they call it? Yeah. You could do that, right? You could pick that up, right?
Yeah, I guess you
What's that called?
could. That's got to have a
technical
special
name for that hobby.
boats in
Building
boats and
boat in-
hose.
Boats and hose.
Hobby named.
I'm
Let's see.
just curious. It's got to have a name. Everything has a name.
Impossible
Skidor
bottle.
thing. No, really?
That's what comes up.
Okay.
An impossible
I
bottle
believe
is a
it. I
type
guess
of
it's-
mechanical puzzle. The term refers to any bottle containing an object that does not appear to fit through the bottle's mouth. Ship in a bottle.
Interesting. Ship in a bottle, baby. Cool. I'm an impossible bottle enthusiast. You could become one at 60, right?
I guess so.
I think you could. So there are certain things, but yeah, you could do it. Well, anyway, let's focus on the numbers again. So what's the first one? 45?
So I don't believe that. That definition, when I read it, it was like, this is garbage. Because
Yeah.
why?
It's weird.
We're in midlife now. I'm not quite in crisis, but I think it's a little crisis.
I think I could be in midlife crisis. Like if by the time this releases and I'm not in a relationship and like something happens with custody of my kid and I'm like 35 or 36 and I'm like alone again, like I get to do whatever I want. Maybe I'll become a Harley guy. Maybe I'll get into sports again. Like maybe not playing them, but I'll do rec league stuff. I'll pretend to be a coach.
You'll know all the stats.
Come on, gang.
You'll know who's coming up.
Yeah, I could be a stat guy.
The
I might
rookies.
know all that stuff.
Oh, he's a good
I might,
rookie.
Oh yeah, I'll go down to Clearwater, Florida, and like start following the team, or like I don't know. I could pick something up, and I'm mid 30, right? So at mid 30, I think is your first chance at a midlife crisis.
So how do you know? How do you feel midlife? You personally,
Like,
what's changing?
well,
I get digestion. You've like,
oh, you're talking about physically what's going on with you?
yeah, like hot wings. If I eat the really hot wings now, like my stomach just can't handle it. You don't feel alive. You start to like these weird pains, and like the pains grow, and then like your athleticism, everything, all your physique kind of starts to fade.
It's on the downcline. You're not out of it. Like
The downcline.
I've been going to the beach a lot, and I've been shirtless running around with my six pack and all that. But I've been telling the guys we've been throwing the football in the sand, so I'm laying out, going diving, and I'm actually about as good as I've been in my entire life as far as catching the football. The difference is the next 3 days, my hips hurt, my body aches. I'm sore. My neck is stiff. Like you wake up and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have thrown a football with the guys.
Have you? It's been like when you get a ball in your hand and you start to you really want to wing it. There's a weird pops that happen and like your muscles don't do the normal things.
I don't have pops, but I can't throw it as hard.
Yes.
And if I want it to, you're you're just forcing your arm to move as fast as it can. It's not natural.
It's not unison. It's not a normal movement. Mm-hmm. Your body is changed.
You're just pushing it. Yeah. So yeah. It's already begun. Are you a contact guy?
Contact? Like as in?
Yeah. Contacts. Eyes.
Oh no, I got LASIK.
Oh, did you? So you would have been. Okay.
Yeah. But that's another.
I know.
At 40, you start to lose your close-up vision. So
is that what it is? Okay.
In my profession, which is programming, that becomes an issue. So I don't know that I could continue to program
I'm grinding my teeth because there's
Stressing
like
out.
five. No, yeah, there's like five things that are really important to me that are physical.
Mm-hmm.
It's my sex life and my wiener,
Uh-huh.
and that sounds like a joke or a pun or whatever. But if I couldn't get hard at will, or oh my god, my wiener didn't work.
And women are no longer sexy to you. They're just like, okay, give me a minute. I know you're attractive, but my body takes a minute. It needs to
I'm not
charge
there
up.
yet, but I'm not there yet. But if it's that's scary. That bothers me.
Blow up that
It
penis
literally irks me. The other one is my vision. I've always had better than 20/20 my whole life, and I still do, but that can't last forever. So eventually, I've never not had perfect vision, and it weirds me. I'm
It dawns on you.
waiting for it. I also have a hair thing. Like I love my hair,
Yeah.
and
Well, mine's
I know receding.
yeah. I actually looked at video of us 2 years ago, and my hairline was kind of exactly the same. And I thought,
Okay,
this
then
is
you're good.
mental.
Okay.
Like it's just, I'm just thinking it's fading.
It is. You're also looking for it to happen because we'll keep this in mind. There are other people our age who look older than us.
Yes, there
I
are
mean,
people that look
in
like
our
they're
age group,
40s, and it's just like, what the hell? People younger than
yeah.
me. I go, how do you look like that already? You're
I mean,
a
think
year
of it.
older than me? No way.
I think we went to high school with people who had receding hairlines and like were
Yes.
balding in parts of their head. So like it happens. It comes for everyone at different ages. So you're always comparing yourself to your age group, which is another thing that this whole thing is based around. You're comparing yourself to your age group. If you do feel younger than your age group, or you want to think you're younger than the rest of your age group, you have to set yourself apart. Like you don't want to become a fuddy-duddy or a balding man or someone. I'm using the word.
Yeah.
I don't know. So you want to do something drastic to show that you're not getting older. That's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah. So we had an episode about our peaks, right? The physical peak is like early 20s, mid 20s, right?
It's 24, 27, between 24 and 27.
I'd say like 25-ish, yeah. And then the mental peak was like 32, 33, right? For the
Yeah,
chess
sounds about
players,
right.
pure mental.
Yeah.
So you start to feel that you are no longer projecting a positive. You're projecting downward.
You are projecting down, even if
or
it's
flat.
Flat. We'll say flat.
Yeah. The only skill that grows, I think, is like your social awareness or like your worldly knowledge. But
That makes
how gauging your worldly
How do you
knowledge?
use that?
How do you feel your
Hey,
worldly
baby,
knowledge?
check out my worldly knowledge.
Yeah, I'm filled with worldly knowledge.
Let me lay this worldly knowledge on you, girls.
So there's a peak that you feel is no longer going to be ahead of you. You know that it's beyond. It's behind you.
In a way, the good surprises are gone. Is that a good way to put it? Like, you can't be surprised and say, wow, I got good surprises in your personal abilities. You will never surprise yourself. You could get better at music by.
I don't know.
Not.
You could never pull off. It's like playing a sport.
Physical feats.
Pull off
Yeah,
some sort of physical feat, and you're like, whoa, I never knew I could do that. Like, that's
you will never.
Not going to happen for me. I don't think.
You could surprise yourself. That's, I guess, a little different. Where you're like, I'm too old to do this, and you make a catch that's good.
But even mentally,
but it's not better.
I think I'm already there. Like, there's no way I could change the way I play a game now. It's like that's so ingrained in me that I don't think that I could just be like a different type of person, different type of player.
So what we're talking about here, which I thought we were going to get to by the end of the episode, was your ability to change.
Your plasticity.
The older, 100%. The older you get, the deeper your roots grow, which is common. I mean, think about it. The more you do something, the more entrenched you are in it, the more of a lifestyle you have of it, the more you worked really hard to get here. Why would you give up? Like, why would I give up my ability to play music? Why would I give up how much I make a year? Why would I give up the things I do and the people I know? You don't. You just get deeper and deeper. But the deeper and deeper all these roots you put out get, the less and less you can just change and do whatever. Like we keep mentioning the Harley guy because that's like my idea of a midlife crisis. You can't just all of a sudden stop hanging with these guys on Friday, visiting your kids on Wednesday, picking up your son from volleyball here, and then all of a sudden be like, sorry, I got to go on the Harley. Like, you don't have that ability to do that the older you get. So I think this whole thing is like a pushback. I'm going to do it.
So you're touching on two things. There's one, the mastery of something takes about 10,000 hours. So when you're younger, you can kind of focus on that. Like you can maybe go to school for it. You have some free time. It might take you 5 to 10 years to master it. And you have hope that you can. But in your early 20s, how much free time do you have?
A lot. Well, yeah, a lot.
Like per day, you probably have like 4 or 5 hours maybe of free.
Damn, that's
like
a lot.
legitimate free. Yeah, for us.
Isn't that much free time?
This is our free time. This hour and a half of talking. And that's
we do it every Thursday and Monday.
Yeah,
and
9
we
o'clock.
Cannot take off.
Eastern. No, Central.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we actually, when we do this, it pushes our bedtime back. So the next day I feel it. I feel tired. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
We have probably a third of the free time that someone younger than us does. Because we have young kids. So
yeah, we have less than a third, probably a quarter.
Yeah. So mastering something might take twice as long. Maybe 3 times.
That's a good point. Like to get really into something new would require free time, and we don't have that.
The depth of diving into something. I mean,
most of our time is spent maintaining our things, whatever they are.
Exactly. Relationships, the house,
new relationships, old relationships, the house you own, everything you own owns you. That old saying, it kind of does.
So it's schedule, repeat over and over again, rinse and wash and rinse.
It's rinse, repeat.
Rinse and repeat.
Wash and rinse, baby. We're just going to wash and rinse. And then we're going to wash and rinse.
Over and over again. But really, like, from the moment I wake up until 10 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago, I was doing stuff that was not of my own choosing. Like, it was not, maybe I ate a good meal, or
I mean, you chose it, but
I have to do it. Like, there's no...
You have to choose it. Yeah. It's like feeding my child. It's like, you picked it, buddy. It's like, yeah, but I have to.
Yeah.
Do you have to? I have to. Someone's got to feed that bastard.
There's no way to get around it. So, I mean, there's no way to game it. Another thing is that you have kids, and then also you have a career. You get put in a job that most jobs are not perfect, and they don't last forever. No. So there's jobs where you don't like pieces of it, but you have to deal with it, and you're there for a majority of your day, and it's just
majority of your week.
It takes up a massive amount of time. I think this is where the midlife crisis should happen, because at 45, what the hell are you doing different? You're not forced to do anything different at 45, unless you're starting a family at 45, which most people don't.
Is that a midlife crisis?
I think there's a realization for when you have a family that you're in it. Like, you're in it for at least until they can walk, 18. And then you can walk away from... No, I just don't want to say it. No. 18
to 20 years? Easy.
I mean, financially, 18 to 20 years. Emotionally, you're probably on the hook for longer. I can't imagine leaving.
Good Lord. You're on the hook for life.
Slightly longer than 18 years.
Until their midlife crisis.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I mean, for the kids, yeah, but also for my spouse. Like, if I were to give all the responsibilities to my spouse and say, like, you've got them, like, if she did that to me, like, I'd have no free time. My free time would be gone.
Sleeping.
Yeah, I'd be exhausted and I'd be sleeping right now, which is a scary thought that you don't have any time.
It is weird, but it's also, you do have the option to do other things. Like, I don't have to do the dishes tonight. I could come down and play bass for 20, 30 minutes. I won't, because I'm tired and the dishes needed to be done, and I'll just have more to do tomorrow, and no one ran the dishwasher. But technically speaking, you could. So your decision to do the dishes and do the norm is to make your next day easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're helping your future self. I always do this whenever I'm writing something, and I think I do it smartly. I say thank you to my previous self. Because, like, in the notes, I will read, like, comments for myself, and then I'll be like, younger Dan saved you this. Here it is.
Thank you.
Thanks, younger Dan. You're also a cocky son of a bitch, younger Dan.
You son of a bitch. Fucker. You have no idea what you're in for. Like, 1 week previous. Weird. So our free time is spent setting up our future time. which will eventually come.
Yeah, and it's setting up a path that you have to walk. Like,
so hold on,
which
this
path?
is interesting. We're going here.
Yeah.
So our time now, every day, the day in, day out, is setting up a time in the future for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what happens is you get stuck in this pattern of doing something for future you. And a midlife crisis is kind of like, when am I going to cash in? Like, I've been doing all this stuff for me. If I don't use it now, I'm going to be 60. And then what am I going to do at the time?
There's a realization there of, if you're running a marathon, in the beginning of the marathon, you're thinking about how you're running the marathon, right? So you're focused on the doing of it. But you might get past the midway point and say, I need to finish the marathon. So then you're reaching for a goal. You're focused on the goal and not the enjoyment of the thing that you're doing. So for me...
This is a terrible metaphor because it's not enjoyable at all.
Not even the beginning.
Not the beginning, not the middle, especially not the end. Okay.
I never ran a marathon, so maybe I can...
What's the farthest you ever ran?
I mean, from my car to the door, I can run pretty fast in those 5 feet.
You run a 2 mile piece? Do you run a 5K?
Back in high school, I ran like maybe a 16-minute 2 miles, maybe.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
8 minute mile. Yeah, that's decent. About. Yeah. And that's like pushing it. Like that's like, I don't want to do this ever again.
Oh no! I mean, I understand that, but
yeah,
you should do a rough. 5K, dude. I'm telling you on the podcast that this isn't a joke. You should literally set yourself to do a 5K, because I could might be able to do a 5K tomorrow if I just said, hey, I want to do a 5K, because it's 3.1 miles. It would take you under half an hour or about a half an hour, and you would feel accomplished. Like, I'm saying this for you on the podcast. It has nothing to do with this episode. I really think you should set yourself a goal to run a 5K in under half an hour, because I think that's 6 mile an hour, 10-minute mile. Like, you should do it, because I think it's something that would change the way it would change you. It wouldn't be a major change, but I really think you should try it. Is that weird?
Yeah, no, I get that. It's
not impossible to do. Most people can do it if you just train for like 2 weeks, 5 weeks. I don't know.
They had a walk for charity that was like a 2 mile walk, and it was around a course that was maybe a little less than a mile long. So there's maybe a few laps. And for me, it was astonishing to see people that could not walk it. Like, they'd go around once and then they'd stop. Like, they were exhausted.
You need a break.
Even though they could walk the whole way. It's like, you can't walk it? How is that?
What age group? Are you talking about older?
This is a variety of people. But like, most of the people, like the people that were stopping might have been in their 40s. And like, at that point I was like, is your body like not letting you finish? Like, why would you just, I don't know. It's one of those things that just is bizarre to me.
This is a thing that happens that is literally related to our episode. I was in work the other day and someone goes, can you touch your toes? One of the other people that's my age. And I was like, oh, the rookies are talking, because we're all the rookies. Like, we're the friends. Like, we're the BFFs at the company. And they're like, I don't know. I haven't tried in years. And they were all trying to touch their toes because no one's tried in like years. And they're like, oh, it's so hard. And I was like, you stretch all the time. I can do it. But like, there are certain things you stop doing and don't think of.
Because you're not
like,
as
even
playful.
Just stretching.
The possibilities are gone.
And it's so weird that they hadn't even tried to touch their toes in maybe 8 years. And here they are, and they're groaning at 35, just trying to touch their toes. And I was like,
it's unbelievable.
It was so weird, but I was like, that's what happens. That's why people who are like 40 or 42, they don't have free time to just jack around and touch their toes. Like, do you know what I mean? Their days are so streamlined. They are so proficient. They're so good at what they do that they don't waste time doing stuff like that.
Inflexibility, literally.
And becoming so proficient at what you do and so shark-like and so calculated to the second means you don't have time to jack around and do stupid shit. And that hurts them.
Yeah.
You become so good at what you do that you hurt yourself.
You lose all those other abilities that are just loose appendages.
That's so weird. And that's essentially what getting older is a little bit.
Become so rigid, stuck.
But again, we're just focusing on the rigidness. It's you're choosing that because you're being so good at your time. You're like, listen, I can get the groceries, be home by this, pack this, do this, do this. And you did 40 things that you need to do for future you, but you didn't just goof around and like F off and like
roll on the floor, do stretches, do yoga.
Can you imagine someone 40 just rolling the floor?
Laughing gleefully?
How about what your kids do? Like where they put their toe into their nose and you're like, what are you doing? And they're like, I can smell my toes. And I'm like, what are you wasting your goddamn time sniffing your toes for? Get off the floor. But like, no one 40 would do that, right? Because it's a waste of goddamn time. But there's something beautiful about wasting time, not being proficient, not being good at something that they're flexible in other ways, physically and metaphorically.
I always imagined if I could retire tomorrow that like I would take this like a time period of like a month and just not try to do anything and just see what happened.
What would you do?
I'm like, it's like Tobias Funke from Arrested Development.
You just say the name. He's a philanthropist, or a philanthropist,
a cat burglar, or he's literally a cat. But like you find me like stretching and like reinvigorating my body because I feel like it's very rigid. Like I'm forced to do the same motions repetitively, and if I didn't have
stretch, like in a weird way, like you're not like doing this at work for the hell of it, like leaning back in your chair and reaching for things. Because why would you? Like, dude, that's a wasted time, right?
Yeah, break all those connections that your muscles are making that are not allowing you to move around. Touch your toes.
Lean, back to that have tree good metaphor.
Posture.
Get those roots deep. You can't be all goofing around.
Also, like for my career-wise, I can see the finish line, and I just want to get there already. Like if I could retire early and just be like, boom, done. But it's a distraction because it's so far away. Also, it's like I might be at the midpoint, maybe.
Well, check this. In doing so, you want to game the system and get there quicker. So you will put more time and resource into
focusing on,
like
thinking.
Exactly. So if you can
obsessing.
Spend an extra 20 minutes a day, like doing this, that will lead you to half an hour a day worth of getting towards it. Like, do you know what I mean? So you're spending this much time to get this much result. You're still wasting this much time more a day doing it.
Yeah.
Not wasting, obviously, but not
daydreaming,
having fun or playing or doing something else. You're focusing on something.
Yes. So that leads us into, I guess, career-wise, I chose a career that paid well, and you chose a career that maybe didn't. So if you could go back, would you pick a career that paid better? If you could restart your life right now, would you do it?
No, because I don't know what that would do to me. I know that sounds stupid, and I do want money, and I'm broke. And we've discussed entire episodes where I need to net positive instead of net negative, and it's a disgrace, et cetera, et cetera. But
not a disgrace.
Well, in one sense,
maybe
not in every sense.
Maybe a little.
Sure,
not really though.
But I don't know what I'd be if I did that, and I'd be afraid. And again, that's part of it's fear. I don't know what the answer would be. Maybe I'd be a better person.
You could be awesome. One-dimensional. I see a lot of people that are one-dimensional, and I wonder how they could have ever developed to be missing all these pieces. I see a lot of those people, and I go, did you just decide this one thing was good enough? Like, when are you going to wake focused? Up? Yeah. Are they going to wake up in their midlife crisis and say, oh, shit, I missed out on doing all sorts of... I could have had these moments that I missed. Like, maybe they were completely unaware of these moments, and later on they find out that other people had so much fun doing X, Y, and Z that they never did. They'll be like, well, I can't do it now.
That's a good point.
Regrets.
I don't know why it keeps popping in my head. No. I was going with Will Smith in Men in Black, where Edgar goes wild and drinks sugar with her. Uh-huh. His wife is the girl from True Blood. I don't know if anyone knows that. Edgar. What's wrong, Edgar? Anyway, there's a line he says to her, and he says, get yourself a nice pair of shoes, and then you need a new home decorator, because damn. And I'm picturing someone saying that about someone's life who's one-dimensional when you were just discussing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, by the way, You wasted your whole time building up your business, your entrepreneurship, and you got nothing because, damn. In a Will Smith voice. I can't do a Will Smith voice. But people
set themselves down a path and they figure out the flaws in that path. And then usually, if they're me, they don't want to go back and relive the path. Even if they could get it right the second time around, it's like, we already tried that. We're not going to go back. And
if you want to be existential about it, no path is going to
make you feel completely fulfilled.
Yeah, I mean, you pick a path. It's like playing an RPG. I put all my skill points into strength, and I got to unlock all these cool things and do this, but I never got to unlock the ones with charisma. But if you went and did the charisma ones, you can't unlock the skill tree.
I hate
with
those
strength.
games. I hate that when you can't fill up the whole thing. Drives me nuts.
You can't fill up, so you have to pick one way or the other. That's like life. You can't get it all. You literally can't.
I'm going to get it all, Nick.
You will sell your goddamn soul.
I don't know. I think also during this time frame, like I switched jobs too because of maybe boredom, a little stagnation. It was a little too easy. Maybe I wanted life to be more difficult at a time when it was already really difficult.
I don't think you wanted it to be difficult. You wanted it to be different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I wanted to experience something that might have been better, even though I thought probably not going to happen, but might as well give it a shot. Because I would have been pissed at myself if I didn't give it a shot. Because that's a phrase, right?
Yeah. Rinse and wash.
Rinse and wash. I repeated that sentence.
Yes, you did. Multiple times.
Would you have regretted things? Would you want to have changed your path at a certain point? Because a lot of people...
No, and I'm always like that.
Well, I think the midlife crisis person does. Well,
no, because I'm a midlife crisis person. So we always discuss... I'll explain this in a second. So we always discuss, do we have any regrets? Did I go to college for the wrong major, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, I became friends with... No. Listen to this. I became friends with Nasty, my friend.
Uh-huh.
My sister married him.
Yeah.
They have 3 kids. Huh. If I didn't go to that school and pick that major and live my life, they wouldn't have met and had kids. Like, I'm not taking credit for their family, but if I don't, they don't get together in the same way, and they don't have the kids, and I don't have those nephews. I have all 3 boys.
Wow.
Love that. I love those kids. They just scream Uncle Nicky Jr. legs every time they see me. All 3 of them. Even the one that's like just turned 2, he's like, Uncle Nicky Jr. legs. And the other 2 say Uncle Nicky Jr. legs, and he can't say the words. So he screams it at me and looks at me and smiles. He goes, Uncle Nicky Jr. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. You don't even know what you're saying. No one even knows why it started. They call me Uncle Nicky Jr. legs.
I don't get it either.
Well, because I have chicken legs, and I think they made fun of the kids. And like, you have Uncle Nicky's Chicken Junior, Uncle Nicky Junior, because I'm
like Chicken Junior, like McDonald's.
Yeah, and they now every time they see me, that's all they scream at, and it's so funny because if all 3 of them are hanging with my son, who wants to be friends with them, my own son looks at me and says, "Uncle Nicky Junior legs," and I'm like, "Shut up, you're my son." But it cracks me up. I don't want to risk a life where they're not there. So I'm like, whatever.
This is looking back and like changing your life. So like if I went back to being, if I went back to being 18 years old and had to relive college, I couldn't relive it in the same way. It wouldn't unfold in the same way. And I would remember the life that I
exact same thing. Yeah.
Even if I tried, it would fail. Like there's no way I could do it. I would know the life I had. And any
it
delta
with your head,
yes,
it would change. Yeah, 100%.
I would regret not being able to recreate the life, even though the life now might not be that great. The other life seems better. Grass is always greener. I'm not sure what to do to get back to the happiest I could be. You'd always be trying to be like manipulating the situation, the scenario, and it would never work. It would never be in your favor. So you touched on younger kids, but we didn't touch on like parents and grandparents passing away, because that's also part of like the existential, like I have limited time here, and
Death.
my guidance.
Save death for the end.
Oh,
We're literally finish the
appropriately.
episode. No, because I think it's ultimately what it's all about.
Yeah.
But what I did want to touch on is the age. So we said how 45 to 64 seems weird. Like
Yep.
it feels weird.
Yep.
I think a more realistic look at what a midlife crisis is, I feel like it happens somewhere between 30 and 35. And then again in 15 years. Does that make sense?
I don't think I think 30 is too young. I think you have to have a full-blown family and be in a career where you think that you're going
I think
someplace.
it varies person to person. If there are people who have kids at 21 or 22, which I guess isn't as common now.
So that freaks me out. Yeah. Because you've lost like a decade. It seems weird, really. Like if you had a kid at 20, like
21,
your kid would already be like 15. How weird would that would be bizarre. I guess you could have a midlife crisis at that point then.
That's what I'm getting at. So I guess it varies person to person, but I think nowadays in our generation, when did man live to? Like 1,000 years ago, like 39,
like 30.
42.
Like old was like 35.
So right, so midlife crisis, you get one of them. Now I think it's almost like you get two of them. Does that make sense? I didn't come across this in research, but I looked for it and I couldn't find it. And now I'm almost like everyone has two midlife crises. I feel like there's one where you start a family or start to have kids, or everyone around you has kids and you feel like you're different. And then I think there's one when the kids reach college age and they go off on their own, and you're not old enough to be old and feeble yet, but you're damn near close. So I feel like there's two of them. Maybe that's a new thing because life expectancy is longer, but a midlife crisis is almost broken into early midlife crisis and later midlife crisis. And I don't think there's a study on this yet, but I'd like to, anyone who writes an article about it, please quote me, Nick from the Unpanderers. But do you agree?
That you have a second life, or maybe even like three lives.
Yes, I think you have three lives.
I took it this way. So like you take the first 20, 22 years.
Some years, 28, 22, whatever you want to say.
Getting educated and building something towards a career. Because most of Americans, they build towards a job. And then you spend 20 or 30 years, roughly 22 years.
Life. Sure, building up your chops, getting your salary up, getting a nice base, customer base, whatever you want to call it. And then after that, it's like the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's finishing up your career and then enjoying it. And it's one of the weird things to read on the internet about people retiring earlier than most people and not knowing what to do. It's like you never enjoyed yourself.
Planned on it.
You just
anyone who retires early works so hard they never enjoy themselves. Maybe.
Yeah, and they can never decide what to do because they didn't enjoy it. Yeah, they never had fun.
Well, think about this. They were gaming the system. They were. Can you really?
It's sacrifice.
Yeah, and they enjoyed it. Like, not just enjoyed it, they felt like they were gaming the system a little bit like you. Be careful there.
Yeah, winning and achieving a goal.
Their joy was winning and cheating and winning this goal. So then when they're done...
The doing of the thing that you should enjoy.
So then when they're done and they cheated it and they won, there's no new goal. They're like, oh, damn, I have to enjoy myself now.
And don't know
Can I game? Can I game enjoying myself? I guess, dude. Can you imagine that? If you were it's like, is there a cheat code to enjoy myself? I'd love to try. We got to find a way to cheat enjoying myself. It's so weird.
I was trying to find Neanderthals.
Oh, their average lifespan?
Yeah, I'm trying to say.
Well, either way, it was shorter than ours, correct?
It had to be.
Now it's also offset by infant mortality rate and stuff like that. We already discussed this on previous episodes.
Oh yeah. Because you could literally have 3 children and only have one make it.
Just one.
Just imagine that. Imagine trying for 3 or 4 years to make another human, and it would take like a decade to.
Well, hold on. You're talking about stuff. Think about families 2 generations ago. Didn't they all have like 5 kids? 7 kids?
25% of adult humans and Neanderthals survive past 40. That's a weird number.
25%? That's a low number.
Yeah, only 25% survive past 40.
It's terrible. 1 in 4. So 3 of 4 die before 30. Now, I guess some of that are 40. Some of that is probably childbirth. Some of that is probably midlife. Well, for
Crisis.
them.
No. Midlife what? What were you going to say?
No. I was going to say midlife. I don't know. Just like getting into a battle at age 30 or 24.
Oh, yeah. That's like tetanus. Like if you go to battle and you get cut by a blade, it's like your odds of getting tetanus and having it kill you were much higher because they didn't have an antidote. Isn't that bizarre?
I had a tetanus shot for my leg.
Oh, thank goodness, because you don't want to be writhing in pain where you can't control your muscular spasms.
Lockjaw.
Yeah. It's one of the craziest things.
You better not put that in there or I'm going to have lockjaw and bite on your penis. I don't know. Andy Dufresne quote? I can't remember.
Oh, shit. I should know this one.
I know. That's why it's your favorite movie. I thought maybe you'd know what I was talking about.
Victims with a sudden...
They say the sudden insertion of a blade will make the victim's jaw
bite down hard.
And hard. Oh, sweet.
Have to
open
open their jaw with a pry bar.
Yeah. And then what is it? Oh, honey. And they beat him up.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Sweets.
Gaines or Baines. One thing's for certain. Baines never walked again.
Oh, yeah. That's ridiculous. That's so good. I mean, terrible, but good.
He grabs the post and then
the guard pulls him back in. Yeah, and they beat the hell out of him.
Oh, such a good movie.
It's a good movie.
I love that movie.
So, let's go towards the end.
Death.
I mean, because we've covered a lot of stuff, but death.
There's one thing that's missing.
Oh, good.
Attention. Who gives you attention?
The older you get, the less attention you get. You know that?
Yes. And
people literally ignore old people, and I think
unimportant.
They probably want as much attention as us, but here's the weird thing: they also don't want us to notice when they fart in public. They don't want us to notice when their dentures fall out. They don't want us to notice when they're like they want attention, but they don't want people to see their oldness. Does that make sense?
No. See their oldness? What?
I think if I'm 80, right, and I'm at a register, I want people to see me and like me as much as I do when I'm 20, right?
Because you're the same person. Because your mental state is really
mentally,
like
I'm the
20.
exact same person. I just don't want them to focus on like, oops, I farted in public because I'm older. I can't control
my bowels.
Well, think about it, man. Oh, Jesus Christ, I wasn't pissing all over the counter, but I did fart. I let a little fart out, right? How about this one? Like, I accidentally drooled a little on myself. I don't want the cashier to see that. I just want them to see me as a person. So there's a weird trade-off where it's like, I want them to still notice me and like me, but I don't want them to notice the weird shit that happens.
All the stuff your body starts to fail you.
Yes. Yeah. So we as young people just ignore old people. It's like a nice thing to do. Yeah. It's like, hey,
he's old.
I'm not going to notice you. You're drooling. Let him go. But the trade-off is we ignore them. I feel like they kind of get lonely. Like they, by ignoring their faults or their weird things or the things their bodies are doing, we're ignoring them in general. Like, it's a trade-off. Like, hey, we'll ignore the weird shit your body's doing, but also we're not going to give you much attention. Yeah. You're old.
It's like they're leaving the store, and the store is actually life, and you're in the store, and they're not there anymore. So you don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
they're on their way out.
They're on their way out, quite literally. And that's a weird thing. I don't know how I would feel about that. I would feel so weird.
They're not.
I'm gonna be one of those old guys. I'm gonna be one of those old guys who has weird expressions and talks to all the register girls.
Quirky,
and then
you make them laugh
and says goofy things. Well, I hope I do, but guess what? Some of them are gonna be like, "Haha, yeah, old guy. It's gonna be $5.49," and I'm gonna be like, "For a bottle of water," and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, where you been since 2019? The blah 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 blah. Every water's $5.49," and I'm like, "Back in my day, it was like a bucko." Ha ha! They're gonna be like, "That's great." I have $5.99. And I'm gonna be like, "You can have it, but you gotta give it back." And then she's gonna be like, "Whatever that means," and she's gonna ring it up, and I'm gonna be like, "Just kidding," And it's gonna be a weird interaction. I'm gonna be like, "Damn."
So there are two moments that, for some reason, that triggered. There's right after getting out of maybe grade school, 7th or 8th grade. I remember like that summertime freedom. Like first day riding a bike
the longest
home
summer.
It's the long summer, yeah.
8th grade summer.
You don't. I guess you have certain things you need to read a book or something, but that who cares? Everyone waits until the week before, or they bullshit the exam. But
we both went to the same school. Did you have Mr. We'll call him not old but young, Mr. Young?
I think maybe.
So my first time coming to high school from grade school, like they're different schools, different teachers. No one knows anyone, whoever.
Yeah.
Apparently, they sent a reading summer list.
Fortunate
I
son.
didn't read a goddamn book. No, we did have to read that.
Yeah.
The one where you go to Mount Everest. Into thin air.
Into thin
Krakauer, thin air. Yeah. I didn't even know I was supposed to read it. The first day of class, I had him, and he was like, "Everyone, bring out your book." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't bring my book today. What book was it?" And they're like, "The summer reading book, Into Thin Air by John Krakauer." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he called on me 3 times to quote it. I didn't even know I was supposed to read the goddamn book for the summer. And he was giving me shit. He was like, "Oh, well, I guess you think you're better than everyone." And he had a real attitude. And he was a real dick. And I forgot about this moment until right now. And I'm calling out Mr. Young because you're an asshole. I didn't read Into Thin Air by John Krakauer. And I will never read it because of you. Sorry.
Bitter.
I'm bitter.
What did you get in
I don't remember what triggered
What grade?
I think a B.
Who cares? B's fine.
But I mean, it was probably an A grade, but he was probably like, I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Anyway, where were you?
That the summer of freedom, like the 3
summer.
months.
Well, the summer we mentioned. I didn't read Into Thin Air. Fuck that.
It's freedom. You get so much opportunity and chance, and you could do whatever you wanted, and it didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Which is
women
weird.
are finally like coming into women's bodies. They're finally noticing men. You're finally making connections with people. You're so close to driving, baby. You can taste it. Some of your friends or older brothers might be able to drive. The world is literally your oyster. You can do anything.
You can start staying up way later than you should.
Oh, yeah.
Like 4 a.m., you're still awake. You're wondering, what the hell?
Well, what's weird is our generation probably was starting to get internet access right then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Wild West is wide open. We're growing physically and getting better at our reaction speeds or whatever you want to call it, our peak human. It was a good time.
So what I was leaning on there is chance. Like at this moment, well, the second moment that I was going to talk about was that there was a summer there after my first year of college where I stayed back. I think it was the second year. It doesn't matter.
You stayed for the summer?
Yeah, I stayed for the summer because I had like a job, but the job was cakewalk. Okay. Internships are cakewalk. And who cares? They're fun. So there was a summer there where I had lots of free time. And I would rollerblade around the whole campus. And when I would go, I would find that there was such possibility because I could see anybody and literally their path had to do with that college. So that means they were there. So I could actually like stop, talk to them and make friends with them. And then the possibilities would be like endless. That doesn't happen now because so many people are tied to whatever they're doing 90% of the time that you can't even be like, hey, you want to hang out? Yeah, you can't make new friends because you're constantly doing something that you're stuck in. And so are they.
I had a new friend at work. Anyway.
You made a friend?
Listen, I just found out he plays guitar. He likes weird music, instrumental music. I was like, oh my God. Wait, he lives 5 minutes from me. He was like, have you ever heard of Montello's Pub? And I was like, oh my God, that's around the corner. I get my chicken cheesesteaks from there. He's like, whatever, dude. I'm big into sports. I'm watching sports. And I was like, I'm 28. Let's just hang. I'm like, anyway, we're not friends yet, but we texted and now we're bros. So
nice. You made it.
But the fact that we're making a big deal of like making a friend, one individual friend, and me wondering like, should I text him now? Should I wait like a week? Should I be like, cool? Should I send an emoji? Like it's weird at our age because you don't make new friends usually. Yes. Because everyone's so busy. Everyone's so entrenched in their life. Everyone has a root so deep that, like, who's got time to fuck around? if you're 30 something and you are, people either think you're a pervert, you're weird, or you haven't been committed to your goals. So it's like,
So that brings up like the spousal thing. Like if you were single at this point of your life, women would judge you negatively
for being single.
Yeah, because
Being single.
why are you still single?
Why are you still
Single.
so weird?
Like they would. I mean, they'd wonder like,
You're right.
what's your like?
What's wrong with?
There's something wrong with you. Like there's got to be.
What's wrong?
The expectation is there.
It is. I think we should jump right into death.
All right, from spouses into death. Check.
It'll be the death of us.
Yes.
You know why most men don't murder their wives?
Why? Because they'll get caught.
Oh, I was going with it's illegal.
Oh.
And vice versa. You could say most wives don't murder their husbands. No, seriously. If this releases them in jail,
oh no!
Funny.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I love my wife.
It's not. Cool. Your Honor,
it's okay.
Episode 118, 1 hour and 3 minutes. My client says, "I love my wife."
Save the day. The jury's just like,
save it.
Oh, he's such a sweetheart.
Aww.
But he's going to be single, late 30s. That can't be good. He's got a reason.
This isn't good.
No.
There's something going on. So death. It's super weird that every one of our episodes ends with life or death. But those are the two ultimatums, right?
Flip a coin.
You're alive or you're dead. Or you're Two-Face.
You're in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, you're flipping the coin, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, a midlife crisis is really like your realization that you're getting older, that you're that much closer to death. I think it's a realization that this is your life. What you do with it is now. If you don't do now, you could be dead. It could be over. You don't get to do anything else. You don't get to make a name for yourself. You don't get to create your image. You don't get to change your image. Your image is what you left on earth. That's it, pal. You're an accountant. You wear khakis on the weekends. That guy. If you die at 61 from something, that's you. You're done. You don't get to say, no, I was going to be cool. I was going to be a biker. I was just waiting for the right time. You don't get to tell anyone that when you're dead. You know what I mean? Like there's weird inside potential where you want to tell people, oh, I could be cool. Oh, I could do this. I was going to get into music. You know what I mean? I was going to be a drummer. Like, you don't get to tell the world what you could be, what you have the potential, what you want to be, if you don't do it. So the later you wait, like, oh, I'm saving my money until I have a lot of free time, and then I'm going to be that Harley guy.
It's precarious.
Well, it is precarious because if you wait till you're 70 to start, let's say even you physically could have done it, but you die, no one's going to know you were going to be a Harley guy. It's over.
It's going to change the world.
That literally dies with you. So there's this weird finality thing. This is who I am. This is the image I want to portray for everyone around me. This is what I want people to know I could do. This is what I was into. This is me, pal. It's your last chance to tell the world, maybe? I don't know.
So this is a strange segue, but there was the people at my old job, they were younger. Like there was a job for people that were between 20 and 30, and anyone that was beyond 30 slowly left. So when I came to this new job, they're still young, but there's still some people that are in their 30s. And the weird part is that like their parents are passing away. It's like their parents, not their grandparents, but like multiple parents are like near death. And it's weird. It's really weird to have someone that was like my age and they realize that like the person that raised them is gone.
I can't even think of that. It's so weird.
I can't
I mean, I've thought of it multiple times.
For as little as I talk to my parents, when I do talk to them, I think, when I do have something to say, I'm glad that they're there. and to give me the opinion that I know they'll give me. Because you can tell what they're going to say. You know them so well that they usually fill in your gaps.
I literally said this to my other friend Dan, who's been on this podcast, is that any advice you get from your parents is literally the best advice you'll get. Not because it's
most biased
the best
in the positive of you. Like the positively biased for you.
Yeah. Yes. Because it's literally the best advice they will give to you. Like, they're not trying to trick you. They're not trying to make you do a certain thing. Whether they're right or not is unrelated. They literally think this is the best thing that you can do for you because they don't give a shit about your girlfriend or your cousin's nephew or the way you look in public. Like, they don't care about that shit. Your parents are older than you to a degree where they realize their time's winding down. They're like, this is what I have to give you. Like, you want advice? Here it is. There's no bias. I'm not trying to game any system. I'm not trying to get anything from you. I might be wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I'm literally going to give you the most honest opinion. If you like it, cool. If you don't, that's fine. And I'm related to you, so it's weird. It's like they're like, I'm a little bit you. This is what I think.
My one grandparent, my granddad, I liked him a lot, and it was not apparent. He might have just thought I was like another grandson, but when he passed away, you couldn't tell him that anymore. It's one of those things that there's things left on the plate that there's no way that you could ever get them off the plate. Like, you were holding the bag and you're still holding it. Like, you should have just given it.
Yeah. Like, you get to a point where I'm going to play this long game out where I think I can trick him into doing this, and I think I can talk him into this, and I think we can work around this, and then eventually long game, I want him to think about this. If you've only got 8 conversations with a person left, like, honestly, think of that. Let's say there's someone you love and you have 8 conversations left. It's like, fuck it. I'm going to tell them every secret. I'll tell them everything I think. But you don't even have the time to tell them like 80 years of your life. Yeah. So what do? You're just like, listen.
8 conversations left, Nick.
Well, think.
That's all you got.
What would you do? It's so weird. So let's say you have 8 conversations left with someone. They're younger than you, right? Even if it's you or your kid. Your kids are too young to understand like complex thought.
Fully, yeah.
Right. But let's say it's you at age 21 and you got 8 conversations left. I look at him and be like, listen, fuck the money. Also, fuck not the money. Like, it's so weird, but like, I only got like 8 conversations left. I'm like, I don't have time to tell you my whole life, but fucking do whatever makes you happy. Fucking have kids.
You boil it down to something that's cliche. Yeah. It's weird because you know exactly what it means, but they have no clue.
But you only, what would you tell them?
I think this is every conversation that is like supposed to be like a key turning point that a parent thinks they're telling their children, and their children just blow it off. They're like, oh, whatever.
Okay. Yeah,
sure. Okay.
Grandpa. Yeah, grandpa. Like, what else could you say?
There's no way to impress upon them like all the experiences that you've gained. There's no way. You'd have to do that in little pieces throughout their entire life.
Right. Now, but again, what if you have 8 conversations left? You're 88. You have some kind of cancer. You're going to see this person like 8 more times.
It'd be like, follow your heart. Like, you know what you're passionate about. It's so cliche, isn't it? It's super cliche. It really feel your gut. But like, your gut will tell you what to do.
What is that?
Follow it.
What you would say? I don't know. I guess. Follow your heart.
Your heart will go on.
Like, I don't think you can. I don't fucking know. I think this whole thing is just avoiding dying. This whole midlife crisis. I'm going to change my life. Hey, I'm not too old. I can change. Hey, I didn't do this. I can change. Hey, I can I can show everyone who I really am. But midlife crisis is kind of an awakening. It's kind of good,
Yeah.
but it's also kind of like, hey, I don't want to die.
You can project yourself out into your own death, into your grave, essentially. You'd be on your bed. You'd be thinking, what am I going to tell my son as I pass away?
I show them I can ride the Harley. Imagine if they thought I was a khakis on the weekend guy.
Oh my goodness.
I'm riding Harleys.
Luckily, that's not a dirt bike. You might injure yourself on it. No, but if I'm passing away, my son leans in and I get to say one last word, be like,
don't say zeya to Wano. Come on, don't fucking say it.
Unpanders. And then you pass away.
Wait, because you've hidden this podcast?
Yeah, since he never knew
about it.
Don't
want him to say it because you're like, this is rated R. He's too young. Unpanders. And he's gonna watch and be like, my dad was an asshole.
What a dick.
And who is Nick?
Yeah.
Who is Nick? I hated that guy. The whole episode, I kept thinking, shut up! Let my dad talk! If you're watching this, B, your dad did plenty of talking, okay? It's time for me to talk.
Is there another aspect of this? I don't know that there is.
No. I think
people just get stressed out and they just can't do anything about it. And then they just... Them. Those people. All those people with a midlife crisis. Would you ever snap? If you snapped legitimately and you wanted... So I know one person that was like 50 and they just disappeared. They just were like, I'm gone.
Oh, damn.
And they
relocated?
They relocated. They never talked to their children, their spouse again. They just disappeared. And they were alive, but doing something else. If that happened to you...
I couldn't go that far.
I don't think I could either. What would you do? How would you restart? Would you restart?
I guess, but you know what's funny? I try and be like, well, I'm not going to be like the old me. I'm going to definitely ride Harleys, and every day I'm going to do
the same job and live nearby.
But what happens is I'd end up going to, like you said, the job I signed up for and saving money, and I don't have as much time for my Harley, so now I'm, doing the dishes, and I got to do the dishes tomorrow. Otherwise, it's movie night. Would you go through
the cycle again? Would you start another family and be like, oh shit, I gotta? Would you just be like a serial?
Would end up in the exact.
Yeah, a serial restarter.
Yeah, but
you can only do that 2-3 times.
You can do it more, but oh, good Lord.
That'd be terrible.
But I know. Yeah, I can see myself doing it again, but it would end up being relatively the same.
You think it'd be worse because you've already been through it? Like the excitement is that much less, but the responsibility is still 100%. Like it's exhausting the first time, but like the second time through, you're just kind of like, I don't know. If you were to have like 10 children, you think the 10th one, you're just like, oh God. It sounds terrible, but.
No, you make a good point. Like, you can only experience something in life for the first time. So a midlife crisis is trying to experience life again for the first time.
Relive the most joyous moments.
Sure, and you can't.
There's no way.
It falls flat.
You can't open a present on Christmas and always be
every
excited
7 weeks having Christmas. Yes. Like, 7 weeks, I'm going to have Christmas again. Fuck y'all. Well, if you have Christmas every 7 weeks, it's like, that's not Christmas anymore. It's suddenly not Christmas.
It's a weird mental disease right there.
I love that it's 7 weeks. Is 7 going to 52?
Yeah, no, it does not.
Nope, it does not.
It's 49.
7 is 49. So
you have to do it over 2 years, that's all. And hope that there's a leap day in there. I hope that adds up perfectly. I think it does, actually.
Does it? Every 4 years for leap day?
I don't
Technically, it's not. It doesn't add up perfectly. It's off by 1 day because the leap year is every 4, right? Right?
Don't do the math.
I don't.
Leave it up to our viewers. They'll do it. They'll figure it out.
Don't do the math. So how do we sum this up?
We don't.
A midlife crisis is all about not wanting to die and showing that you're young, but you only do it when you're old. Hold on. Did I just crack the whole code? So hold on.
You try to be young when you were old, but you can't. Yeah. So you try to be young again, but it's not what young is now.
Because you're old. So
you can't possibly know what young is.
You can't. It's like trying to be an opposite. you can't do it. Like, even if you pretend to do it and go through the motions of doing it and
you want to have
force
sex
yourself
with like
to actually do
a
it.
dozen young women, right? Like if you go back,
sure.
I guess you could pay them, right? That's the way. That's the only way it's going to happen.
I can't remember.
I thought a concubine implied that they were like some slave. I thought it was like courtesan or
liaison.
No, courtesans are like they're like prostitutes but higher class. They're
courtesan. Yeah, I put it on my wound now.
Courtesan.
Courtesan.
Let me make sure I'm saying the right word here.
This episode just went south.
Courtesan. A prostitute, especially one with wealthy or upper class client. Well, I guess that would eliminate
clientele. Nice.
Yeah.
It would eliminate me, that's for sure.
That's so empty. I couldn't do that though.
So, what's weird is a midlife
your penis
crisis
would stop working anyway, so it wouldn't matter.
Don't make me depressed. A midlife crisis is when you are getting older and you realize you're getting older and you want to show that you still have a young person inside you. You still have youth.
Oomph. Gusto.
But what's weird is it's still in an older shell, so it's
fading.
It's forced. It's like I'm going to buy this new car. Ironically enough, aren't most midlife crises
convertible?
Like, no, aren't they mostly shell fueled by money? Like
that your money doesn't buy you the regrets back.
No, even crazier. You have to have money to have a midlife crisis. I'm going to spend $40,000 on this
to show that you have a midlife crisis.
And think of it. You're trying to be young. Young people can't afford this goddamn Corvette or this midlife crisis that you're pretending to have.
Mm-hmm.
So midlife crisis is entirely fabricated. Because a young person would not be able to afford the midlife crisis you're having. It's so weird. Oh, I'm young again. Look, I'm buying this $40,000
which no
harley.
Young person could ever afford.
No, which is weird. You're trying to pretend to be young and spend the money that a young person wouldn't have.
It's really thinking that those things matter in the future when they don't matter at all. No one is looking at the person in the Corvette and saying, "Oh, I wish I could be him." Like, honestly, no one gives a shit about you once you buy a Corvette and you're middle-aged.
You send it over here, but
you no longer get attention from anybody.
So it's attention. It's because we ignore old people. The only way to get their attention is to buy young people shit or wealthy people shit. Something that screams, "Hey, I got this shit.
I'm important.
I'm important. I'm not impotent, and I am still alive."
This
damn
concludes our podcast.
I think it does. Folks, we like you. We like you a lot. While you're here, donate to our Patreon. It's right here. We accept anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000. Anything less? You want to give us $400? Don't even bother.
Not worth it.
Not worth our goddamn time. We don't pander. Okay.
That's what the U.S. mail is for.
I was gonna donate $600. Shove it up your ass. We don't want
it. New Corvettes, slide them right in.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next time where we talk about the size of our anus. Thanks. Check out our website. Check out our socials. Go to hell.
We got them, folks. Good night.